Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's version of Know What You're Talking About. Today we're looking at Module 3 DQ1. This one has to do with elasticity. Elasticity is always kind of a difficult topic for students. It takes a little while to wrap your head around it, but bear with me. I think we can make this a lot easier. So let's look first at the DQ. Elasticity is related to a firm's total revenue and changes as you move up and down the demand curve. Ooh, there's an important point right there. You're a marketing manager and you have to decide whether to increase price or decrease price. If you're facing elastic demand, would you increase? If you're facing inelastic demand, would you increase? Since elasticity changes as you move up and down the demand curve, how can you know where you are, whether demand for a product is elastic or inelastic? Ooh, lots of different parts to this. Let's start with the very beginning. What is elasticity? Remember last week we talked about the law of supply. The law of supply says as price goes up, quantity demanded goes down. It's a law, a law. It's always true. But that information by itself isn't all that useful if you think about it. I'm a marketing manager and I'm trying to decide whether to increase price, and all I know is, well, if I run the price up, I'm going to lose some quantity. The obvious question is, how much quantity? And will the price increase offset the loss of quantity? That's what we're going to answer with elasticity. Elasticity is simply percentage change in quantity divided by percentage change in price. Very simple. In our textbook, we talk about using the midpoint formula and some things not relevant to this question. You can see that if the equation is percentage change in quantity divided by percentage change in price, quantity on top, price on bottom. And from the law of demand, we know that as price goes up, quantity demanded goes down. They're moving in opposite directions. And so, if the bigger number is on top, if percentage change in quantity is bigger than percentage change in price, you're going to get an elasticity greater than 1. And you're going to find that every time you increase the price, you lose total revenue. What is total revenue? Total revenue is real easy. It's just quantity times price. How many did we sell? And what was the price we sold them at? Quantity times price. So, if the bigger number is on top, if quantity change in quantity is bigger than percentage change in price, what you're going to find is every time you increase the price, the quantity decreases by even more. Increase the price by 10%, quantity is going down 12%. You're never going to get ahead on total revenue at that, right? So that's elastic demand. On the other hand, when the bigger number is on the bottom, when price is changing faster than quantity, what you're going to see is your elasticity is going to be less than 1, and you're going to find that with each price increase, yeah, you're going to lose some quantity. It's the law. It has to happen. But the loss of quantity is going to be less than the gain in price, so you're going to come out ahead on that deal. So now that we've kind of sorted that out, let's think about this. Many times students tell me that the way you know whether something is elastic or inelastic is whether it's a necessity or a luxury. That's not true. What we find is elasticity changes as you move up and down the demand curve. At low prices, relatively low prices, elasticity tends to be very inelastic. So you can take the price up a bit and you're not going to lose all that much quantity. Think about it. If I buy my favorite candy bar at $1 and suddenly my candy bar goes up to $1.25, a 25% increase, am I not going to buy it? probably still going to buy the candy bar, right? I'll probably complain, but I'll probably still buy. Small price, very inelastic demand. But as your price increases, people get more and more and more price sensitive until ultimately demand becomes elastic rather than inelastic. Look at this table that I have right here. When the price goes from 5 to 10, your elasticity is only 0.20. 0.20, way less than 1. It tells us that that price is changing much faster than quantity and that your total revenue is going up, and that's exactly what we see here. By the way, I forgot to say, this is figure 3.9 in your textbook, so look at that as you work on the homework. Then when we go from 10 to 15, our elasticity gets a little bigger, but we're still gaining total revenue. Likewise, when we get to a price of 20, our elasticity is really increasing. It's heading up to that magic 1 level, isn't it? But still, we're still increasing in total revenue. When the price gets to 25, elasticity is 1. 1. That's unitary elastic. That means that quantity or percentage change in quantity is the exact same as percentage change in price. So you get no change in total revenue. But after that, people are very, very touchy about price. And you can see that our elasticity goes to 1.57, 2.60. This is all for the same good or service. We don't exactly say what it is, but it's true for all goods and services. Get out of your head that idea that a necessity will always be inelastic. Let me give you an example. I would count gasoline for my car as a necessity. I live in Phoenix. Public transportation is kind of limited. Gasoline is a necessity. So when gasoline goes to $5 a gallon, I'm buying. When gasoline goes to $50 a gallon, ooh, probably still buy, at least for a while. Gasoline goes to $500 a gallon, I have to get my bicycle out. Price goes to $5,000 a gallon, I can't play in that league. I can't play in that league, so I'm not buying gasoline. Hard to say exactly what I would do instead, but I'd figure out something, right? So even something as necessary as gasoline, there are limits. It's not inelastic at all. Prices, it changes. We see it in this table. Let's see what it looks like on the demand curve. So we see here that 25 was the magic number, the price, where it changed from inelastic to elastic. And that's demonstrated right here. At a price of 25, below 25, demand is inelastic. Above 25, demand is elastic. What does it look like on the total revenue side? Again, check this out in your textbook. This is figure 3.11. Over here, let's look at this graph for a minute. We've got quantity on the horizontal axis, but this is total revenue on the vertical, not price, total revenue, which is why the curve looks so unusual. This is with each move. So from total quantity of 200 to a quantity of about 175, our total revenue increases quite a bit, as seen over here. When we go from 175 down to about 150, our total revenue is still increasing, and then it gets to a point right here, and we saw from the table earlier that this is related to a price of about 25, but right in here, you get no change in revenue. You increase the price, but revenue doesn't change. After that, every time you increase the price, your quantity goes down, but so does your total revenue. You're facing elastic demand at that point. So with that said, we understand now that the answer to the question is not depends on what you're selling. The answer to the question is, where are you in that demand curve? So back to the question. It Since elasticity changes as you move up and down the demand curve, how can the marketing manager know whether demand for a product is elastic or inelastic? Here's how he would know. If he changed this price and he saw that he was inelastic, so he took another price increase and he saw that he was inelastic again, but it was getting more price sensitive. As he fills in these data points, the more price hikes he takes, the better he can tell how close he is to this magic price where demand flips from inelastic to elastic. And that is the heart of this question. So I hope that's been helpful to you. Think about those things. Think about every good and service is both elastic and inelastic. It depends on where you are on the demand curve, and think about how total revenue relates to elasticity as seen in those tables in your textbook. With that in mind, I know that you're going to create a very substantive answer to this DQ, and I look forward to reading it, and I look forward to giving you 100% on this DQ. So I look forward to seeing you next time on Know What You're Talking About.